Morning, everybody. Mark from MT.TrainRestorations here. I just wanted to say we're going to start another series today. A little bit different than my last video where I worked on a drive gear from a 259 engine. This is going to be renovating. We're going to restore some old passenger cars from Lionel, made between 1931 and 1941. And I'm going to talk about some of the changes during the years on the series, but wanted to get started on showing you from beginning to end what some of these cars look like when I get them and what they could look like when they're done. So I'm going to adjust my camera here a little bit and focus down on my workbench so everybody could see what I'm doing pretty well, hopefully. Tighten this up a little bit. And then we're going to get into a couple cars here. I'm going to explain what I got. If everybody could see okay, good. I got this set a couple years back. I'm not even sure when. Somebody redid them, and maybe when, soon after they redid them, they looked okay. But where they stored them, or how they stored them, took some years of life off of these cars. Anyway, these are not marked as they were when they were made. These are a set of cars made, as I said, 1931 came out. Lionel did a 613, 614, which are these cars. And then actually in 1933 came out with a baggage car to match. So this was a set 1931 through 33 of a Pullman set, observation car, baggage set, and you can see the modifications. Whoever did these over, these are not the right couplers, these are not the correct trucks. The wheels are kind of newer, but the trucks are made from somewhere else. It's got more of a modern contactor for the light. These two cars do light. This one does not. But anyway, you can see the paint, job wasn't all that great. Didn't last very long, kind of peeled off and it's in bad shape. So I also have a second Pullman car, which was a great thing. That's the reason I bought the set. I saw these, I think, on eBay years ago, and they offered these 5 pieces, but this piece is not actually part of this. This is not a 613. This is part of the 600 series that Lionel made around the same time. This is a 602 baggage car, and they did some modifications to it as well. I guess they didn't have a door, so they made one. I take my hat off to the gentleman who made, or the person who made the door. I had to throw some handles in there, homemade handles. But you can see the difference in length from the 600 series to the 613 series. So I'm probably not going to renovate this one right away with these. I'm going to stick with these 4 cars over the next couple weeks and take these all apart, and we're going to strip them down to a bare metal, and either with some chemicals that I use, some paint stripper, an afterwash, or maybe sand blasting. I do a little blasting. I have a media blaster. I may do that, depends. I'm going to try it on both, see which one takes the paint and rust off easier and quicker, and that's what I'll stay with. But for today, we're going to take this apart. Oh, look at all the paint that comes off. So anyway, I like this feature of all the cars where the roof actually will come off, spring loaded, kind of cool. Lionel came with that, out with that in the late 20s, 30s. And all we have to do here is kind of remove some of these parts. So we're going to start here, work my way up from the bottom up. We're going to bend these little tabs up. There's tabs in here that pertain to the air box underneath. That's what that is. Try to bend these off. I have a long screwdriver, makes it easier to get in here without breaking some of my knuckles and scraping off the skin. Just turn those tabs up as easily as possible, because these do bend and break off. So I kind of twist it to stand it up straight. And then let's see here how this is going to go. There we go. So this is in really good shape. It looks factory painted, factory color, so I appreciate the person doing that, leaving that alone. The trucks, don't know if I even want to save these, what they're going to be good for. Same with the couplers. These were pinned on. Somebody drilled a hole through the bottom of the floor and pushed a pin up through, soldered it in place, it looks like. I have a feeling that's solder, which it is. So these I'm going to have to probably heat up to get out. Same with this pin. I'm not sure why they didn't use the holes that came with it, but that's another issue. That's all part of the fun. So what I'm going to do here next, I'm going to take the rails off. Again, I just kind of twist this, get that to stand up, get under here. Try not to miss and stick it through your hand. Been there, done that. Stand that up, and that will help take care of what's, as you can see, this holds the doors in place, the sliding doors. So just kind of work that down in there. Get that released. Get that released from here. And then we get this track out. Try to keep it from bad. It's in good shape, really good shape. A little bit of rust. The doors are all original. They have the original handle, which is a separate piece. We're going to try to get those off later too. It looks like somebody put a little, maybe a little solder or glue or whatever. We get these handles off. I could strip them down. They're probably brass. Then we'll strip the doors down to raw metal. You'll see that in the next time we get to that part of the show. I'm going to take out, again, twist a little bit, straighten that out, and break the seal a little bit. Sometimes these are painted in place. You don't want to bend these or mangle these up too bad. They're fragile, you know, a lot of years old, these are. And get my long screwdriver in there again, try to bend this tab up a little bit. And we're going to get that to come right off. Okay, so we have one window, and that's where the number does go. The real number will go right there. I have a rubber stamp for those that I'll probably be using. I think I have the original rubber stamp for the 6, 13, 14, and 15. And then we'll be able to rubber stamp it back again. See if we can get this under here, loosen this one up. Get that open a little bit. There we go. And this will come off fairly easily. Get that down. Now back to the other side. Again, I'm going to get these tabs lifted up. Hopefully you can see that pretty well from there. Just kind of turn it up. Just get underneath it. And if you can't get underneath it, I do have laying around here my trusty old dull broken point. You can also use one of these little knives, these little blades, X-Acto knife. That'll help get under these tabs without too much pressure with a big bulky screwdriver and break them off. When you break them off, it's kind of a bummer. I do fix them. I can fix them by soldering on another tab. So it's not like it's the end of the world, but I'm sure we'll break something off by the time we get done here, and I'll show you how to fix that too and add a tab back in. So there, that wasn't too bad. Get these pieces out of here. All right, so we got two tracks that are in really good shape. Usually ones I get are kind of mangled up, but that's a good thing. The doors look good, and as you can see on these doors, just two little tabs, you squeeze them together and this brass would come off, this brass handle would come off. I'm sure it's brass underneath. Could be chrome, could be nickel. It's hard to say. Oh, this one does look like nickel. Get underneath that paint. Yep, it is nickel. So, good. And we'll take off this other window. Just get under there and turn that a little bit. Get underneath the, sneak in through the door here, see if we can get underneath this little tab down here and turn it upright. Get under it there a little bit. Try to get that, there we go. It's getting, lifting up. Let's see if we can get this a little bit better from this way. One of these doors will let me in there. There we go. Okay. So with that, pulled away enough. Just enough to sneak this top one off. And then it'll drop off at the bottom one. So there. Now, I'm going to take these doors off the end. These, you can see on this model, they have the vestibule that is a separate piece that bumps out from the car. If you remember the other one, the similar car, Lionel, it was just embossed. It was just a punch out on the end of the door. It's not a separate piece. It's part of the body, and you can see the difference. This was a premium set back in the day. The detail on them is really good. The window detail, door detail, the rivets, the vestibule, the Pullman car itself's got really great detail. Look at the doors. They got 2 or 3 different steps in the doors themselves, the paneled door. Obviously you got the little handrails and a lot of detail to this. You can see there's a little bump out here. Very, very nicely detailed back then. And these were top of the line for that style. But anyway, we're going to get back to seeing what else we can take off of here. I'm going to use this, see if I can lift these a little bit, get them started, get under them enough where I can get a screwdriver. Yeah, they lift fairly easy. Again, like I said, you don't want to force them because you don't want to break off a tab if you don't need to, because even though I can fix a tab if need be, it's sort of a pain to just do that, and you don't want to do it often. So with that being said, here we go. That's a tough one down there. So we got those opened up a little bit. We're going to open these with the screwdriver a little more and see if we can get this back vestibule off without too much damage. These will be separate pieces that I could paint or powder coat. I have a powder coating process that I use also. Just kind of pull that right off. There we go. Still intact, good shape, other than stripping the paint off. That'll be a nice detail when we go to paint again. We'll do a complementary color to the car with the vestibule and the doors. I think these are going to really look sharp when they're done. So we're going to lift these up. Excuse my reach, and I know it's difficult to see, but we just want to get in there and unbend those tabs a little bit. Just straight works best. You don't want to over bend them. There. Okay, so comes right out. So good. So that's that. Those are the easier pieces to get. I'm not thinking, let's see here. Now, if you could see inside here, there's tabs that release the floor. We can take the floor out, which would probably be, in this case on these, the best thing to do, because there's a lot of work to do on the underside of this to get these trucks and things, these couplers off of here. It'd be easier to work on cutting those out and get rid of the solder and stuff if I didn't have to work inside the body. So I'm going to open these tabs up. Actually, I can work through the window. You can work through the window and just turn that a little bit and get that tab lifted up where it's about straight. Same thing there. I'm going to turn this around and we're going to open this one up. by turning. Put the screwdriver on it, turn it slightly, get it lifted. There you go. Same here. There we go. Get that one lifted up. I don't know if you can see down in there real well. It's difficult. Get under here. Lift this. Get that lifted up a little more straight. Okay. So with that said, I don't see any solder or welds holding that down. So hopefully, see if it's loosen it up a little bit and knock a lot of paint off. That's for sure. Get this thing here to the point where you loosen up, break that paint bond. Now we'll see if we can lift up the frame. You can see where it meets the floor. Just get that in there and lift those up over the tabs. This tab needs to go up a little bit more. So what I got for that, just use a pair of needle nose. This in there and just kind of turn it up out of the way a little bit more. There you go. Again, be careful, we don't want to crack it off. Get that down off of there. Got that loosened up. We'll come back to that third one. Get this side broken free here a little bit. There we go. Get this one done. See if we can get this one broke free. Okay, so I think the paint over here is holding us back. Okay, so we have this situation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend this off. We're not saving these couplers, that's for sure. And I'll be able to slide that out of there. And this one here we're probably just going to need to cut off. So what I'm going to do is get my trusty little Dremel tool, change my brush out to a wheel, and we're going to do a little cutting here. I think I'm going to cut this off here if I can get in there. It's probably better off if I just cut down through. I'm going to cut down right through here. Let's see what we got here so far. I don't want to scar up the floor or the body too much, so just wiggle that back and forth. Okay. This here is very fixable. Actually, it was added on after the fact anyways. You can see these are just tacked on there. We will salvage these. Anyway, so there we got that out of the way. We'll be able to see if we can get this floor broke away from here. I think it's the paint kind of holding it together. Let's see here. We do have a little bit of something holding this here together. So we're gonna, looks like there might be a little bit of solder down in here. Just crack that loose. Okay. There, it's getting there. Got to fight with this one here a little bit today. There. Okay. So, as you can see, The floor does come separate from the body, sometimes easily, sometimes with a little bit of a battle, and we won that battle. But you can see now a little bit better because somebody drilled holes and put these pins through here to hold this wrong coupler, wrong trucks on there. So we'll cut those off and we'll heat that up, and we'll get that solder out of there. I'll clean all that off. We'll straighten out the ends of these again. Get this floor back up into shape. Clean the solder off of all these things. A lot of that'll come off. I'll probably put this right into the sandblaster after I clean off all the moving parts, and it'll get down to the metal. As you can see, there wasn't a primer used that I could tell. Back of the paint is same as the front of the paint, so I don't see a primer. Could be the reason why none of this stuck very well, but somebody cleaned it down to the bare metal, which was great. So like I said, I'll cut these off later. That is that car there. I have one more window in here. I'll do that one later as well. What I'll do is get a little dish here, a little box. I'll put all these little parts in from this piece, and then that way we'll keep track of them a lot better. All these doors, we'll clean these up. I'm going to take those little handles off. I think I have a couple of those actually. So we're going to put this aside. And leave that to chance over there. One more door. Get rid of this coupler. I'm going to save this because I'm going to need that, obviously. This car had some issues. As you can see how they're made. Part of the body extends down under. There's a slot for the right coupler to share through, and it holds that up. These were obviously broken off at some point in time. So the previous owner soldered on a couple brass pieces. Not a bad idea. I have some brass stock that's actually a little bit thicker, that might look a little bit better, and I'll make that part of the trim package when we get to the end. So I think that's what we'll do here on those. You know, sometimes you just can't get parts for these or pieces for these, and when body parts are broke off, like, you know, you can see here, this is not a standard step. These came with these steps, which fit into the slots that you see there. They're tabs, they're bent over, they're made out of nickel. I have a couple of those, I believe, in stock. They didn't have them on the back from the factory. They had the slots, but they did not have steps here because it's a basket, can't get in there. So they only have these at the doors. So I know I have a couple of these. So what I'll do is I'm going to take this one apart since it's right here. Take this roof off. You can see some of the damage. Newspaper stuck to it, the rust. Hopefully this does not go through to the point where it has a lot of metal damage. I got to be careful when I'm sandblasting. Turn the pressure down a little bit. We don't want to go make a hole through. And this piece comes off. This red piece will come off with these tabs, and that's how these became different colors. I'm sure they took them apart, but that's for the next time around. We're going to take this light out of here. It's not the same. It's not the factory light. It's close. I mean, it worked, but this is not the light for this. This actually is a top light for an engine. Something like the old 150 series, the 250 series Lionel engines that have this strap. Actually, this is a pretty nice one. I think it's brass. I'm gonna get myself here a little brush. I'm gonna clean this up a little bit, see what we got underneath. I think that's a brass. Yeah, it looks brass. Okay, so That's good. I always find little exciting things. The light works. I had it on a track the other day. Light bulb works. So we're going to put that aside. We're obviously going to rewire everything, so this isn't a big deal. Someone tried to put the windows in with some tape. We'll ditch that for now. Take that out as well. Get rid of those things here. And I'm going to start taking this one apart as well and get the windows out. On the next show, you'll probably see I'll be working on these still, taking them apart. I think I'm going to clean these up a little bit and have the parts and some of these all cleaned and ready for paint, and then we'll talk about the next step. So until then, I hope this is something that you'd like to see, something you'd like to watch. If you have some old Pullman cars and they're all beat up and you'd like to redo them, it's really not that difficult. Take these out, you just have to be careful taking them apart. And then once these are in excellent condition as far as no dents, no dinghies in them. It's just loose paint. There are some rust, but I think we can deal with that. I have trucks. I have to see if I have enough for all 4 cars. And I got wheels, I got parts that put these back. They're pretty close to as done at the factory. So that'll be part of our next show. So stay tuned, there'll be more to come. Thanks everybody so much for stopping in with me today. Until next time, thanks, bye-bye.